Hey everybody, today we've got an updated 2024 US Senate prediction for the month of December. The last time I did this in August, and I'm not really going to make many changes. It's still just a little bit too early to know what's going to happen. In a few more months, we're going to have a better idea of what's going to happen in the primaries. So this is almost the same prediction as before, but we can still go through the states and see where things are at. And right now, Republicans would need to flip one seat for a 50-50 tie, two seats for an outright majority. So we're going to start with the safe states. Those are going to be over a 10-point margin. For the Democrats, Washington, California, New Mexico, Minnesota, the two independents caucusing with the Democrats in Maine and Vermont, New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Delaware, Maryland, and we can't forget about Hawaii. So I don't think much needs to be said there. Could New Mexico get down under 10? Possibly. But just like with the rest of these states, Republicans have very little bench or very little going on there. Now, the safe states for the Republicans: Utah, Wyoming, North Dakota, Nebraska, the Nebraska Special, Missouri, Indiana, Tennessee, Mississippi, and West Virginia. Now that Joe Manchin is not going to run, I've changed that from likely to safe Republican. The other states, maybe they get down under 10. For example, Josh Hawley in Missouri, he's probably going to go up against Lucas Kunce there. But right now, it seems more likely he's going to win that by double digits. Now let's get down into the potentially competitive states. These are the likely margins, and they're between 5 and 10 points. For the Democrats, we're going to go to the East Coast. We're going to start with New Jersey, and this is close to safe. But until we see what's going to happen with Bob Menendez, I'm going to take this at likely just out of precaution. The next state, let's go next door to Pennsylvania. Incumbent Bob Casey, he's running for another term. His name is very well known in the state, and on the Republican side, it looks like they're going to go with David McCormick as their nominee. Of course, there's still a primary process, but McCormick was the runner-up to Dr. Oz back in the midterms. I don't think he's an especially strong candidate, but maybe I'm wrong and McCormick is the guy. But right now, it looks like Bob Casey is likely to win by over 5 points. And the last state is Virginia. Tim Kaine is running for another term, and the Republicans are lining up to challenge him. Right now, it looks like it might be Hung Kao as the favorite, but it is way too early to say for sure. Outside of a red wave, I think Kaine is likely to win no matter who the Republican nominee is. Now, the likely states for the Republicans, we've got Texas, and this has Ted Cruz, and he's running for a third term. And here, the Democrats, they're lining up to take him out. And this does have the potential to be competitive. So I can understand if you have this down at leans. And Ted Cruz is not the most likable guy. The most likely nominee for the Democrats right now seems to be Colin Allred. We're going to see what happens, but for right now, Cruz is going to be the likely winner. Now let's go down to the lean states. These are under a 5-point margin, and we're going to start in the West, in Nevada. This has Jackie Rosen running for another term, and there's potential here for the Republicans to be able to flip this. But first, they've got to get through their primary. The field is open, but right now it looks like Sam Brown might be the front runner. There's plenty of time left, but he has raised the most money, and he came in second place for the Republicans in the 2022 primary. So it's not uncommon for the runner-up to take another crack at it and be the nominee in the next election. That's what might be happening here for the Republicans in Nevada. And Jackie Rosen is not a rock star candidate, but she is going to start out with the advantage, so it's leans for the Democrats. Next state, Arizona. We still have to see what Sinema is going to do. Is she going to run again? Is she going to retire? Either way, at this point, I'm going to leave this at leans for the Democrats. Ruben Gallego looks like he's cleared the field on that side of the equation. For the Republicans, we do have Carrie Lake running for that Senate seat. She's got to get through her primary, but she looks like the front runner at this point. So there are a lot of question marks here, but in a three-way race, it's extra hard to predict. The early polls do show Gallego with an advantage. This could easily change, but I am going to leave it at lean Democrat. Next, we go to the Rust Belt, Wisconsin. This is another one where we have to wait and see who the Republicans are going to put up against Tammy Baldwin. The GOP did not get their top-tier candidate they wanted, so there are some names being thrown around. We'll have to give it a few months to see how it shapes up, but either way, Baldwin is going to have to be the favorite here as of now, so it's going to stay leans Democrat. And again, we go next door to Michigan. This is an open seat, so that means it should be competitive, but Republicans have faltered here on a statewide level in the last couple of elections. It does look like the Democrats have Alyssa Slotkin likely to be their nominee. As always, there is a primary. It could heat up. She's going to face a challenge from her left, but there are more unknowns on the Republican side. Right now, it could be James Craig, Peter Meyer, or Mike Rogers. Whoever it is, right now the Democrat is going to start off with a small advantage. Now, the lean states for the Republicans, and that is going to be Florida. I am keeping the same rating at leans. I'm not going to go to likely just yet. It is Rick Scott. He is the incumbent. He has won close races before. The state has trended toward the right. That's all true, but I personally don't think Rick Scott is all that strong strong of a candidate. He does start off with an advantage. He does have access to a lot of funding, and the Democrats have pretty much wiped out in the state as of late. We have to see who they're going to nominate. Either way, Scott is going to have the advantage, but I don't think it is as much of a lock as other people do. I've heard a lot of people tell me they would have Texas as leans and Florida as likely. It's very close. They're both borderline, but I think Cruz has a very slight advantage at this point over Scott. Now we have 2 states left, and this is where all the action is going to be. We'll start in Montana. Jon Tester has been durable for the Democrats in previous elections. I know he has won in favorable environments, so this is a state I am prepared to flip if and when the time comes. But for right now, until we see what's going to happen on the Republican side, I'm going to leave this at tilt Democrat. It might be Tim Sheehy. It could be Matt Rosendale. Let's give it at least another few months. Tester could easily go down, but he does have appeal in that state, and there is a chance he could hold on. The last state is Ohio, and I am keeping the same rating I had last time. There's going to be disagreement, and like Jon Tester, Sherrod Brown is running for a 4th term. I think if it's anybody other than Brown, this would be a flip for the Republicans, and based on all the polling I've seen, Sherrod Brown does look like he could be defeated, but the only thing stopping me from flipping it is that it's just too far out. We don't know who the Republicans are going to nominate. Is it going to be Frank LaRose? Is it going to be Bernie Moreno? Or could it even be Matt Dolan? Or how about even Vivek Ramaswamy if he ends his presidential campaign? Until we get some of those questions answered, I'm going to be generous to Sherrod Brown and leave this as a tilt Democrat, but I would be very nervous if I were Sherrod Brown. So the final total is 50 Democrats, 50 Republicans. It's another tie, and the vice president would break that. So Republicans pick up West Virginia. They definitely have other opportunities in Montana and Ohio. If they can get through those, then they could start looking at Nevada, Arizona, Wisconsin, or Michigan. The Democrats, they're really only going to be focused on Texas or Florida. I would only see those flipping if it was a big blue wave. So we've got to see what happens with the candidates in the national environment and the key issues at the time. But this is the map that I have right now. So let me know in the comments. How does your map look at this point? Do you think Republicans are going to pick up a couple more seats, or do you think the Democrats will hold? Let me know down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Hit the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.